slightly further forward than the A. So you should concentrate to feel where your middle of your tongue is touching on the roof of your mouth. And the last one is ash, ash. Again, slightly further forward. So we have A, aj, ash. And make sure you only have the slight echo on the aj. The next group is where the tongue, or the tip of the tongue, or right at the front of the tongue, the upper portion of the front of the tongue, touches the hard palate very forward in the top of your mouth, so almost near your gums but slightly behind, so not actually touching the gums, i.e. where you meet the teeth, but slightly behind. So the first, or the three letters, is the ra, the lam, and the noon. So the ra, with a fatha on the letter before it, if it carries sukoon, goes into a heavy letter, i.e. it's tafkhim. So this will be pronounced as ar. So you cannot say ar, it's ar. And the tafkhim is really done by lifting the back of the tongue a little bit. So you say ar, ar. And try not to roll the ra, so don't go ar, ar. Okay, if you happen to roll it once, that's normally fine. So we just say ar, ar. Be very careful not to get into the habit of rolling. And you should feel the top of your, or the tip of your tongue touching the front hard palate at the front top portion of your mouth. Next one is al, just that, straightforward, al, al. And then we have an, an, an. So it's ar, al, an. Group 7 is where the tip of the tongue is touching where the gums meet the front upper teeth, and your tongue will be slightly going on to the teeth itself. And the three letters in this group is ta, dal, and ba. So with the sukoon we have at, and when you say at, you'll notice you have to let a bit of air through the teeth, but it's not an echo. But to complete it, you have to let a bit of air through the teeth. So you say at. Then we have ad, 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 and that is an echo. Ad, slight echo, ad. And then we have the ta, which is one of the tafkhim letters, i.e. the thick letters, or sorry, the heavy letters. So that is going to be out, out, and it's got a slight echo. So they'll normally say out. So you have to differentiate between the at, which is light, i.e. tarqiq, and out, which is heavy, so it's tafkhim plus it's qalqala, so it's got an echo as well. So we have out, yeah, so that also echoes and it's heavy. So we have at, ad, and out. At, ad, and out. Next group is where the tip of the tongue is between your upper and lower front teeth, so not outside the mouth, just very slightly. The tip of your tongue is very slightly between the upper and lower front teeth. So we have the letters tha, dhal, and dha, and that will give the sound of ath, adh, and aldh. Now the dha again is tafkhim, so you have to lift the back of your tongue to give the heaviness sound. So again it's ath, adh, and aldh. So we have to differentiate very carefully between the dhal and the dha. So it's adh and aldh, adh, aldh. Again all three, ath, adh, aldh. And these three a lot of people find very difficult, so it takes a lot of listening to and practice not to confuse the three. So remember the tha, it's got a th sound, so it's ath, whereas the dhal is more like the English word the, so it has ath, sorry, adh, adh. So we've got ath and adh, and then we have the tafkhim dha, so it becomes av, av. So when you finish that saying the av, the tip of your tongue should be just between your teeth. The next group, group 9, is where the tip of the tongue is touching your bottom gums where they meet the bottom inside teeth, and we have the letters za, sin and sad. Again, sad is one of the tafkhim letters, so the pronunciation is as, because it's za, so it becomes as. The sin is effectively the English s, so it becomes as. And then we have the thick version of that, which is a sad, so it becomes os. So we have as, os, as, os. So the difficult one here, and all three of them are very much alike. The first one, as, is like the English word as, whereas the as is like the as in the word astronaut, as, and the os is, I suppose, quite close to the English word us, but with a full mouth, os, os. So we have as, os. Group 10 is the letter dad on its own, so it's like a thick D, dad, and with the sukoon it will give the sound of ad, ad, ad. Okay, so it's one of the more difficult ones to pronounce, and the non-Arabs find this very difficult. So if you try and say dad and then say ad, so again it's thick letters, so the back of the tongue will come up a bit, ad. And remember, the dad is normally pronounced with the left side of the tongue touching the upper left teeth. So even when you do it with sukoon, you should feel the left side of your tongue touching the upper left teeth. So it's ad, ad. Okay, so in conclusion then, we've gone through in detail our makhaarij, or the points of articulation, and generally when you practice that you do them with this sukoon, exactly as we have done, the hamza with the fatha, and then the actual letter with sukoon, i.e. sakin. And we also know what the qalqala letters are, i.e. the echo letters, which were the 5 that have to be pronounced with a slight echo in order to complete the sound.